Found someone else's earring in my and my fiancé's apartment. I, 28F, found a small hoop earring in my apartment with my 28M fiancé. I confronted him about the earring and he stated that he had never seen it before, nor did he know who it belonged to. I have never had any doubts about his loyalty or any thought that someone was in our apartment without me here. But recently I asked where the earring was and he said he threw it out. Should I be concerned that he threw out the earring? Should I be questioning him more? I think it's worth having an open conversation. Don't accuse him but try to explain what it looks like to you. As always, need more info. 1. Where was the earring found? 2. How long have you lived there? 3. Where was the earring when he threw it out? The answer to those questions will give us a much better insight into this. Have any of your girlfriends been over and lost an earring? Why would he keep it? I can't speak for your situation, but I actually found an earring in my dryer that my wife said it does not belong to her and I have no idea where it came from. Our washer and dryer broke, so we were doing the laundry at the laundromat for a week or two, and then we just recently bought a bunch of new clothes, so I assume it either came from the laundromat or one of the clothes we bought when someone else tried it on. Your husband may be cheating, but I just say this because there's always the possibility that it was something else. How long have you lived there? Did you find it somewhere it could have been for a long time, before you moved in? Is there any other signs that lead you to believe he can be cheating? Unless there have been other red flags, I wouldn't read too much into it. It could have come from a million places. Someone could have tracked in on the bottom of a shoe, could be from a previous tenant and just moved to where it's visible. Anyone who's been in your apartment could have lost it. There are several innocent ways something like this could have transferred to your apartment. For example, it could have been stepped on and stuck to a shoe. It could have fallen onto your clothes as someone walked past while you were sitting on a bus or at your desk at work. For someone who you have never had any doubts about, you're going to need to find more than one piece of evidence. Why would he keep a random earring? Lol, if you have doubts, have a serious convo about it. I don't believe him throwing it out is the equivalent of admitting guilt. I lost a small hoop earring in a gutter once. I looked all over and could not find it. This is where it must have turned upside damn it. Does he use terms like, me hearties, and, arg? Does he have a parrot? A peg leg? Seriously though, if there are zero other signs he could be cheating, and, when you have a calm conversation about this you don't get deflection, contradictions, defensiveness, I wouldn't jump to conclude he is cheating. It could have been a friend, a former tenant, and had just been unearthed. A female family member's, even an ex's of his that's been in a long unused bag, unopened box, random pocket all this time and has just resurfaced. By all means, don't be naive, pursue it if you think it's one more dodgy thing, among other signs, but don't go in assuming it's a smoking gun. I found an earring in my apartment after 2.5 years. No women were here in that time period. Tears of joy. I don't think him throwing it out says whether or not he is guilty of something. But obviously you guys need to talk more about the face that it was there in the first place. You may also have nosy landlords that intrude when no one is home. Where did you find it? Was it somewhere obvious or more obscure? Sometimes women like to leave clues for the women being cheated on to find. I'm still leaning towards it's probably nothing though. Why would he keep some gross random earring? Were you hoping to do DNA tests on it? Donate it to a thrift store? If this is the only thing that has ever made you doubt him, you should really drop it. It's a small hoop earring. That's probably the easiest kind of earring to get stuck in just about anything, and you may as well have been the one to accidentally bring it home. They easily hang on to clothes. I have found mine in the weirdest places sometimes, as they get stuck in sweaters, scarves, bags and fall off whenever. I found a binky in my rental after living there for 2 years. I haven't been around a baby in years and none have never been in my house. Things get left behind by previous tenants and somehow get pulled up to the surface years later. It could have been attached to new furniture, belonged to his mother, sister, a friend, an old tenants, who knows. If I came across an earring that isn't mine, and I have no reason to believe my boyfriend is cheating, I'd just toss it too. Edit. We are close in age and I've been with my boyfriend for over a decade. This wouldn't even rock the boat for me. Do you share a washer and dryer with the whole building? The amount of times I haven't looked and ended up with someone else's clothes is so high. Yesterday my boyfriend and I found a sour heads wrapper in our apartment. Neither of us even eat them. Lol, we have no idea how it got in our hallway, and I know for certain he isn't and would never cheat. Sometimes super weird stuff just happens. If he hasn't given you any reasons to doubt him, I would let it go until he does give a reason for doubt. Listen. The gnomes of squirreling things away do crazy things. I've lost so many pairs of earrings at the most random places, and I hadn't been sleeping with anyone. I wouldn't jump to the conclusion that he's been sleeping with other people unless there's other evidence. Has he ever had any woman over to his house ever? Like a mom, sister, female friend, cousin, idk. Has he ever had a party or guests over or a dinner party? I don't think this alone means he's cheating. Earrings fall off all the time and they tend to be small, so they are often unnoticeable for a while. I'm not sure what your concern is with him throwing it out. I would probably do the same if I found a random earring in my apartment. Honestly, random earrings are gross, they can harbor bacteria, and if I didn't know where it came from, I would not want to hold onto it either. No. This could be from anywhere, anyone. At the extreme very most, file it in the back of your brain as general information. You should tie him to a chair and interrogate him more. When you think he's lying, shock him with a car battery. Or take him at his word and keep your radar up a little bit more. Whichever sounds more rational. To be fair, I throw out things that aren't mine or my partner's. We haven't had a roommate in forever, but one of his socks has made it into our laundry, and probably has just been hiding in the laundry room for the last year until it got mixed in and resurfaced. I threw that out. And #X200B. If it was in his bed, private bathroom, non-communal space, be more concerned. If this is a question about not social distancing versus cheating, make sure you frame it that way. IDK, it's an apartment, small things get left from prior tenants. Or earrings are small, it could have gotten vectored to the apartment via laundry. Jackets if they are stored in a common area at a workplace, etc. But you didn't say where it was found. How long he's been there, has he subleased, etc., etc. You haven't given enough info for us to come to any logical conclusion. It can just as easily be a friend's or family member's. We men don't really pay attention to jewelry enough to notice finer details, so it could be a family member's and he wouldn't ever have noticed. It really depends on where in the house you found it, and how long you have lived there to determine if this is suspect. Also, it's possible he didn't throw it away, but gave it back to whom he knew it belonged. Depending where you found it, could easily be from previous tenant. If found in sofa cushions, it could have been a friend of yours from 5 years ago. If it was on your pillow or in the shower, then more suspicious. I think the best option here is to look over the facts. Where was the earring found? Does he have any friends that would wear that style of earring? How long have you lived in that apartment? After you answer those, we'll be able to know more. Talk about it. Don't accuse him, but he has to see where you are coming from. I don't think it's weird he tossed it. Why would he have kept it? Could it belong to his mother, grandma, auntie? Or a male friend with pierced ears? Where you found it is the most important thing. I've lived in my apartment for 5 years, and the first I lived there I dropped a model on the floor and lost a small piece of it. I looked for a long time but couldn't find it, so I assumed it must have went into the heating duct or something. Well, fast forward 4 years to last month, and I was scrubbing the carpets next to the baseboards, and this tiny piece of metal popped out from under the baseboards, and lo and behold, it's my missing piece. You'd be surprised how long something can hang around. Also, don't you have any female friends or relatives who could have dropped it? Lol, I've been with my girl for 3 years and I still find little relics of the past like that in my place sometimes. It's from a girl he was smashing before you. He not cheating. Are you the first people to live in the apartment? Do you or he or his friends ever bring female friends over? Like, say, his friends' girlfriends? The possibility that he's cheating based off the one earring is only one of many possibilities. I can't even tell you how many earrings I've lost or where they've gone. 'Cause they're lost, ya know? Lol. I think you're okay on this one. As for him throwing it out, why didn't you throw it out when you found it? Lol. Not like you're gonna wear just the one, and no other reason to keep it around. That is not suspect in the least, to me. It really could mean nothing. Anyone who came over could have lost it. It be canuked been from people before. I've found earrings and all kinds of things in different places over the years. All kinds random stuff that wasn't ours. Machete in a door jamb, earrings, X-Acto knives, saws, screwdrivers, a 1-inch star fairy wand, petrified bar of soap my dogs almost fought to the death over, all kinds of things. Who knows where things come from sometimes. Earrings can get stuck for years under baseboards and pop out after vacuuming. I lost a ring once that my sister gave me isnt. It appeared like 20 years later. I looked high and low and everywhere. I'd say don't do anything, as it may have been from before you moved in, or something along those lines. Just be careful and try to pay attention to more things, like maybe him washing laundry more, or washing the bed sheets more. Or acting different around you. Ask him about it. Talk to him, and try to be calm if you notice anything out of the normal. Don't do anything like accuse him, as it may just be a misunderstanding. I once found a blue tampon casing in my boyfriend's wicker trash can. Talk about an explosion. Turned out his best friend, a male, was trying to get his drinking buddy back. It almost worked, but I knew in my heart there was no way my love would hurt me. Trust your gut no matter what way it leans. I wouldn't be concerned about this at all. Since y'all live in an apartment, it's extremely likely the earring belonged to a previous tenant, and your husband probably threw it out because there's no real reason to keep a random earring. I'd have tossed it just because I would think it was kinda gross, haha. The only way I would think jumping directly to, maybe he's cheating, in this scenario makes sense, as if you already suspected your husband might be cheating. I once lived in an apartment for 3 years before my girlfriend, now wife, moved in with me. A couple months and she finds some earrings in a bathroom drawer. She just assumed they were my ex's as they were in the back of the drawer, but I swear I never saw them before in my life. So, sometimes that kind of thing happens innocently and the guy has no idea how it got there or when. Nah man, why did he throw it out? I've had people over before and then my boyfriend or I would find jewelry. We'd never throw it out, it could be someone's? Like I'd ask around. Any follow-up conversations about it like, do you still need this? Did you find its owner? What if it ended up being a friend's you hadn't had a chance to return it to? It's super weird to think to chuck it, but that's me. I think it would be a bit weird if he threw it out before you asked your friends if it was any of theirs, but if it's not part of a series of red flags, just move on. Eventually the truth comes out. I would say it depends on where it was. I found an earring and bobby pins in the vicinity of an old ex's bed and he was 1000% cheating. But it's also possible in your case that maybe it was a previous tenant's that just got left behind or somebody he had over, not in a sketchy way. Did he had an ex or female roommate living with him prior? Does he have sisters or maybe his mother, granny, was visiting recently? I found packaged tampon at my boyfriend's apartment. It was put in the box with my pads and other hygiene products I use while at his place. He said he doesn't know how it got there and that it may be of his ex, who used to live with him. I do actually believe him, because once he was cleaning and he found another tampon. But have no idea why put it with my stuff, when he knows I don't use tampons. My girlfriend has found them too, no idea whose they are. Could have been an ex-girlfriend, my mom's, or one of my friends. She trusts me though and we have open communication, so if someone was over I could tell her the truth and talk about it. Depends how his reaction will be, if you can ask him about it if you have doubts and need to be reassured, or if you trust him and don't care. Up to you and how you feel. I wouldn't throw it out, I'd ask if it was my GFS, but IDK. Maybe it was the previous tenant? IDK if someone said that already. Don't be that, GF. You will sabotage your own happiness jumping to the least appealing conclusion with our corroboration. It could be a make friends, it could have even gotten stuck to his or your shoe. I've brought an earring home that way before. It's worth having an open conversation with him about and tell him how you feel. Hide a camera if it's a shared apartment and make a trip to see a friend for a night. I know it's not super cool to do something like that, but you if want the truth there it will be. I've been in my house for 5 years and every so often I still find things that were here before me. I don't know the dude, but I can think of reasons to toss it regardless of if he did anything wrong. This could be many things. Unless there's more evidence besides the earring, it is very likely that he does not know where it's from either.